2020 has taken another from us. We lost a son, a brother, a dear friend, and one hell of an amazing musician. Born March 12th, 1984, and taken from us July 13th, 2020. John McNeally was a wonderful person, someone who was very rough around the edges. But if you gave him even a moment, you learn exactly how bright of a heart he had and how bright it would shine. Someone who would give you the shirt off his back and never ask for anything in return. So many people took him for granted. So many people used him. So many people just looked at him and saw the addict they turned into. I looked at him and I saw the kid I grew up with. The kid who sold parts of his drum set to help me buy food when I was homeless, sleeping under his drum set without his mom knowing. Until his last days, people used him, abused him, because they could. He gave those people chances when he knew he shouldn't have, but he still did. Once again, a warm, bright star burning hotter than the sun. Some people like John burn so bright they burn out way too early. And this is what happened here. He burnt out and was taken from us way too early. I'm happy he'll no longer be haunted by his addiction to alcohol, but I yearn for the chance to talk to my friend, my brother, my favorite drummer one last time. A chance to jam with this man one last time. I could go on for hours about my memories of John. Hell, I just might, but I'll try to keep it brief for now. In your life, you are so lucky to meet someone like John even once. Many of us don't have that privilege. I feel honored to have known this man, to have had him in my life. We played in so many bands together. I saw his bright, glorious highs and his bitter lows. I never, ever gave up on him. We bickered and fought. We did what musicians did and wrote songs about each other. But we'd always reunite, as if nothing had happened. I tried so hard to help John, but he'd always push me away. My greatest regret was not fighting harder. I was, and I still am, struggling with my own mental health. But I should have done more to help this man that I called brother. But all I can do now is move forward. That's all any of us can do now, is move forward. John was so misunderstood by so many people, but he had one hell of a sense of a humor. And people just didn't get it. Kind of makes sense now why him and I got along so well. There's a lot of people here who really want to say goodbye to you, John.
I think John McNeally will never be forgotten. We will all help him live on through memories and through doing good things for others. I think he is one of the nicest people I've known and funniest. But you know what? He never judged anyone, no matter what. He is good to all people. I think when us kids in our 30s, 40s, when someone our own age dies, we should really look at it as a gratitude check. And be grateful for our own lives and everything we can do with our human bodies, and to be grateful for all our beautiful friends we have and love them more than anything. You can never take things back, but you can always do good in the know. Love everyone. It's going to be okay.
So, not going to lie, I was pretty shocked when I found out that John had passed away. It's been well over 10 years probably since I've seen him or talked to him. But, when you have people in your life, even if they're not in your life in the present, they're always there. Some part of them is always there. And it makes you who you are. And I'm realizing too that if you aren't currently in touch with someone, they kind of become immortal for you. They are always going to be who they were when you last saw them, unless you have the opportunity to see them again. And so for me, John is always going to be 18 or 19, and he is always going to be on the couch in our apartment, hanging out, having fun with a smile on his face. And my favorite thing that I will always have is our road trip down to the cities when we thought that Anonymous had a show at First Ave. And everybody was like, oh my God, you have a show at First Ave. This is amazing. This is incredible. We have to get everybody to go. So we had, I don't know how many people in my car and in the station wagon, and I'm pretty sure we had one other car that we were all caravanning down to the cities in, walkie-talkies in everybody's car because, you know, cell phones weren't really a thing at that point. And, you know, we get there, and it turns out, we didn't really have a show at First Ave. We had a show, like, First Ave adjacent, I think. But you know what? Everybody got up and played and had a really good time. And we have a really good story about, you know, driving. I think that was the first time I'd ever driven to the cities. So that, you know, was an experience for me in and of itself. But that's who John is and always will be for me, is that 18-year-old enthusiastic, pretty kick-ass drummer who just always wanted to have a good time. And I hope that John's family knows that he was loved by all of us and appreciated by all of us, and he will never be forgotten.
John McNeally, to me, the memories are music and laughter, and I'm grateful to have those memories, and I know that he's holding down the circle pit in the sky until we can all make it there. Rest easy, John.
Hey guys, it's Squirrel from Dwelling. Just want to say, John, I'm sorry I came to this. Can't believe I'm making this video, but glad I got to know you. Glad we were friends. Wish I could have seen you more in the later years, but let's party again someday, huh? Fucking rock and roll forever. Nice knowing you, brother.
Hi, Jesse from Number One Common, all the other bands I played with. Noise Fallen, This Is Now. I want to say that I very much hope you found a happy place. One of the memories I have is, you know, being at our shows and playing with you guys and watching you put your head in front of the speaker the whole show, and I gotta say that must have gave you a headache. I guess the other memory is that time you bit Jeremy. But I really just want to say I hope you found your happy place, man.
Hello, my name's Jeremy Malecki. I knew John. Stacy Krugger asked me to make a video several days ago, and I've been putting this off because it's just like the longer I'm able to put this off, the less final this shit is. I just want to say to Ben, I read your shit on what you posted on Facebook, and it made me cry. And if you want to become friends on Facebook, I would definitely accept you. Same with Elaine Blomgren. I hope I don't wreck your name by saying that. You guys Obviously, Ben, you're his brother, but Elaine, you were very close to him as well, and we interacted a lot. I met John through, because I played in some bands, and he was an anonymous, and his band opened for us, and it was apparent that John had some immense talent. He was a great drummer. And drummers are dime a dozen, guitar players are dime a dozen. Drummers are valuable. And as soon as you knew that John was good, it's like, as a guitar player, that's what I do. I wanted to jam with him right away. I just knew he's special. And he had a ton of talent. But I didn't hang out with him right away because I'm a weird person. I'm antisocial. I don't really have a ton of friends. The people that are my friends, or anyone that's ever dated me, they put in all the effort. And John liked me, and I don't know why, but he liked me, and he put in a ton of effort to be my friend, and he was a great friend. And I might not have been a good enough friend to him because of who I am, and I don't know. But I love John. I mean, he was the funniest fucking person ever. And I miss him, and I feel bad that he didn't know how many people loved him. The thing I want to tell you about John, one of the more recent, well, it's not one of the more recent times I hung out with him. Like the story I will always remember of him, we were at a bar, and one of my bands had played, and he came out, and he was very supportive. He's a great dude, just to be there. You know, it's not like the early days when my band was huge. This was at the end of my career or whatever in the local scene, and he came out, and he was one of a few people that were there. And afterwards, we were just sitting and drinking at the bar, and man, he was the funniest dude. He would just make you laugh like you wouldn't believe, and really, like all the jokes. He's just the funniest person. I don't know why was able to make anyone laugh. I mean, seriously. And anyways, we were sitting at the bar, and after I get a few drinks in me, I become shady as fuck, and I just want to hit on women. And there's some girl. I mean, John and I were sitting next to each other, and some girl also came up next to me, and I was flirting hardcore with her, and maybe making some. I don't know if I was making. I was drunk, so of course I felt like she was calling home with me, but John knew what was going on. He knew the score. It's like if I went home with this girl, that he and I were done hanging out. So right in the middle of me talking to this girl, he reaches over, pulls up the side of my shirt, or the sleeve of my shirt, and he bites me directly on my shoulder, and he left teeth prints. It was like the funniest thing ever. Like right when it happened, I was shocked, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But it was easily the funniest thing. Like I talk about it all the time. I used to always tease him. Like one of the last things he said to me on Facebook, because I mentioned him biting my shoulder. He's like, "You're never gonna let me live that down." He just wanted to hang out with me. And he got to. Like, I hung out with him all night that night. We went back to his house and drank till the morning, or I don't know. I don't even remember what happened, but it was fun. And I hung out with him. And I wish I did it more. And I miss him a lot. There was a better friend. I don't know what else to say.
Hi, I'm Buddy Shumway. I've known John since I think we were both 16, 17 years old. We've had a lot of fun times over the years and a lot of bad times, and we were just talking before I moved back out here, and I was hoping to get together with you and jam some more, but you're gone, and I'm sad about that. You were a good dude, a little confused, really depressed, and I hope you're in a happier place. You were definitely you, John. There's nobody else like you, I can say that. We've had a lot of fun over the years, and I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss you.
Hi, I'm Candis. John, I'm really sorry that you felt like you couldn't reach out or find the right people. I understand that you were going through some things. I knew you were sad. You were a really good person, though, and you made a lot of people smile, and you will be remembered. I hope that you are in peace, and I'll see you on the other side someday. I just wish I could have been there a little more. I wish I knew that you were struggling so deeply. I hope nobody else has to go through this, but I do understand people have their issues. I'm sorry that we couldn't be here for you, but we're here now. And I hope that you are in peace and that you finally found your rest. I love you, John.
John, what can I say? I mean, I miss you. I can't believe you're gone. Every time I hear drums, I think it's you. Of course, it's never as good as you are. I don't think anyone will ever be that good. I remember the movies we used to make, Gastro, I remember that. I remember Potato Cakes. I think there's a scar up here from that one. I mean, I miss you, bro. Can't believe this is goodbye. No, it's not goodbye. It's until next time. I love you. Remember, you want a banana?
Well, when I heard that John had passed, it was a real shock. You never really expect people that you know, your friends, people that you love, that you care about, to just be gone. One day, and you sit there, wondering about the last conversation you had or the last time you saw them, and I don't know. It's hard. It's life, but it's hard, and it sucks. And I'm not really good with goodbyes at all. So instead, I'm going to say, see you later, John. I love you. You were a fun dude. You were a weird fucking dude. We had a lot of good times together. I remember the very first show that I ever played with you. It was you, me, and Sam covering 3 System of a Down songs at that community dance at that little community center, like a block or 2 away from your house. And time of my life, man. Some of the best moments I've ever experienced were with you, and playing our music and doing our thing and having a blast. So again, we'll see you later, man.
This is a tribute to MC. It's been over a week, man, and I can just barely even get to a point where I can just even fathom saying goodbye, but I know that you're gone, man. And thanks to the COVID Christ, we're unable to even gather and pay traditional respects to our friend, to you, Johnny. But I do want to thank Stacy Krugger. Thank you, man, for putting this on together to pay respects to John. I'm sure Ben and Judy are very grateful. Thank you, brother. So, as an intro here, I guess to start, my name's Shawn Stone. I was in a band called Anonymous with John for 15 years. Not for 15 years, but about 15 years ago or so. But, man, I don't know. We recorded various demos. We even did a live album out in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And then we toured the state for a good while, including playing the Princeton Party House in Princeton, Minnesota, which coincidentally, I bought a house with my wife and my family about 15 years later. So what are the fucking chances of that happening, huh? But hands down, I mean, really looking back in my life, these were some of the most memorable and fun times of my life, 100%. And I really mean that. So I would like to share some memories. This is a tribute, a memorial. So I share some shit. It's probably pretty random here, but whatever. Yeah. John was twisted, man. And as was I, and still am I. But it made us a really good fit. And then if you add Matuzak, which those two were the real partners in crime, man. They were thick as thieves, two peas in a pod. And then you had Stacy fucking Krugger in the mix, and then Mikey and Sam. What a bunch! So, it was freaking great, man. Couldn't trade anybody else. John's idol, Slipknot drummer, Joey Jordison. And I have never to this day met anybody who could replicate and do what he has done on a drum kit. It served as like a good benchmark for what MC would really aspire to do on a drum kit, right? Amazing. But Matuzak and MC, they were always trying to hammer down the Heretic anthem in between our songs when we were all in practice. You know, they would stop and they would try to just get it right, you know, and then all of a sudden, one day they nailed it, and dude, it was fucking on. I loved playing that cover live. I was a huge Slipknot fan growing up, and they had actually played some dope System of a Down covers. We played a couple of them live, which is actually how the band was formed, pre-Anonymous, pre-me. It was Sam and Mikey, Matuzak, and John. They just formed to play System of a Down covers, I think at the West Duluth Community Center or something like that. But that's some good fanboy shit right there. Yeah. But personally, I've always loved music, and being in a band is when I became as much of a musician as I could without knowing how to actually play an instrument. I mean, every time that we would be together during practice, I would just watch John drum. And with him, I learned what every sound that I grew up hearing without really knowing how it was made, right? And like that to me still to this day is the most impactful in my life regarding music. Because still to this day, music is so much everything to me. And it's like he made me see it and understand it instead of just hearing it. You know, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it does to me, so whatever. But another good memory, another good time memory was the homemade gastro horror movies, man. And probably not a lot of people know what it is, but they were a fucking gem. MC, he always wore a gas mask during practice and during live shows, but he made the most delisted, low budget, no budget, awful horror movies with them, where Gastro was the killer and stuff. But goddamn, man, I thought they were great, and I wish I knew how to find them nowadays, just to see them. You know, and I think he made, you know, somewhere probably 10 to 20 of them, but I was at least asked to be in 2 of them, and it was so sweet. And I remember like one of them, I was dressed up as a fireman, and I was getting busy with some lady, and then Gastro's coming behind me, and I turn around to get my throat slit, you know, and that was it. But like, it was awesome, dude. Oh, I wish we could find those fucking things. You know, we put a lot of our band's live sets and things up live and a couple of shenanigans, but it'd be nice to put all the Gastro up there. But anyway, other stuff about MC, man. He was always the best. This is what I like this a lot. He was always the best at pushing Sammy Dungeon's buttons, right? Like Sam, we love Sam so much, but like Sam out of the group, he always had the need to prove that he was like, you know, very grown up, and that he ended up kind of being like the prude dad of the group. So I'm a big fan of just fucking with people and learning to trick. And I definitely think that I've learned a couple of things out of John that I still use up to this day, man. So that's awesome. But I would have to say, just kind of going down my notes here, because it's hard to even put together something coherently. It's just so fucking sad, man. But this is a celebration. This is remembering his life. This is again just me just showing how his being on this earth has impacted my life, man. And I love that guy so much. So I'm just gonna keep going on with a couple more things here. I would like to say that my favorite show that we played was at the Lab in Minneapolis. It was just really fucked up circumstances, but the thing is that we were playing this show at the Lab in Minneapolis, and it was the same stage that 6 Feet Under played the day before. So when we're there rocking, dude, 6 Feet Under was on the same exact stage, fucking just playing to a sold-out crowd. Like, so to us as young guys, that was awesome, right? You know, we're sharing the same stage as these guys, not the same night, whatever, but it was fucking great, dude. So that was the thought going into it, but here's the fucked up shit, is that we packed 3 or 4 vehicles full of friends and everybody that wanted to come down and see us play. So we were basically a big caravan carpool, and so we made the 2-hour trip from Duluth to Minneapolis, and then only to be told that at the door it was a 21 plus show. And I think that close to every single person that came down with us was underage and was not allowed into the show. Everyone was around like 18 or so. They even had a problem with me being in there because even though I was a part of the band, they didn't like me being in there underage. So we were fucking pissed, dude. We were so fucking mad. And we ended up being able to basically classify all 3 carloads worth of people as our roadies and sound techs, and they were allowed inside prior to the show, and they basically helped us set up, and then we played a dope fucking 3-song sound check with everybody in there, and they're all moshing around and shit. We all knew, and then they had to go out, and then we had to play the show, and so we're already kind of pissed going into it, but on top of that, there was like 0 promotion for the show. You know, we didn't do, you know, we don't have a lot of people down in Minneapolis, so we're kind of relying on the venue to promote, but there was no promotion. So we played to like 6 people or something. And I think my dad and his girlfriend were a couple. But I think it was one of the best shows that we ever sounded, though. Like as amazing as we could have ever sounded, because we were so fucking pissed off, and because of everything else that happens, you know, we already had this angst going into it. But you know, even like I remember during the show, there's this freaking 60-year-old white lady that got out of her bar stool and was all boozed up, and then started like country dancing and shit, and like it sent me over the edge and everybody else, you know. It was fucked up, dude. But we have the set on video, so if you ever want to check it out. But that's got to be my most favorite show. You know, we had a lot of fun, good shows. But other things, you know, here just kind of trying to jot through this to make this coherent. MC, and he video recorded every show. He was always into the videoing and this and internet and stuff. I mean, he was the pioneer embracer of everything that we do nowadays is just a natural reflex. But I mean, you know, I still go back and watch our old shows. You know, he created a Facebook page that was basically post the band, and uploaded all of our shows that we had, and then a bunch of other, you know, silly things. That's awesome. But you know, he was the computer guy, so he adminned our shitty Angel Fire nobody was ever gonna come and watch it, but whatever. He treated it like it was the only shit that Americans would get their feed from. But so here's the little bit of history that I'll give, at least. VH1 behind the scenes and shit. Is just kind of how we progressed as a band. Is that we started practicing in Sammy Dungeon's garage in Lakeside in Duluth. But after just a few months, we needed to move due to the neighbors around there having their skulls fucking smashed in, and they were bitching at old Bob, and wasn't looking good. So we moved to West Duluth. We moved into MC's tiny bedroom that he had. So we've got some videos too of us doing practice jams in there, and we made it work, man. But it was like sardines back then. We'd even try to invite people over and stuff. It was great. But while we were there, and I think we played there for at least a good couple of months, I really did get to develop and meet and get to know his brother Ben, which Ben is just a fucking awesome, great guy. He was Ben's older brother, he was John's older brother, and then Judy, his mother, was there, and still to this day, I mean, she, you know, like thank God she wasn't my mother, because I would have had my ass kicked 90,000 times. Judy is amazing, and I love her so much, and still to this day, I kind of do want to go over there with a wooden spoon and have her autograph it, just so I could frame it and put it up on the walls, because she would wield that thing around the house and just get ready to kick our asses with it, and rightfully so, because god damn it. Anyway, after we were at MC's house for a while and we knew it wasn't working out, we had found our best practice spot. And I can't even remember who got the relationship started with this guy, but there was this weird little venue in West Duluth by T-Bones, kind of down by where the new Quick Trip is. And it was called the Spotlight. And I can't even remember who the old guy, what his name was, but he was so delighted to have us, and he treated us like sons. And it didn't even seem like he was bothered by like the freaking brutal metal that we were conjuring up or something. Like he opened this place as a karaoke joint, and like country karaoke at that. No booze, no liquor license. It was just this weird room, and that it's almost like he seemed to make the place just to have a couple of buddies over with or something. But there were like all these other office rooms around there, and then there was this other big room which he built the stage on, and we practiced there for free. It was fucking dope, and those shows that we played there were just great. I mean, they were so much fun, but there was lots of debauchery that happened down in the basement of the place. I felt like during the local scene, you know, around Duluth, because we were the youngsters of like the main people playing. There was Dwelling, Hatred would come up, you know, there's NOC, there's people, but we were the young guys coming into it, and like so every time we would play Roundabout Records or somewhere downtown, you know, you definitely felt like you were the guest there, you know, as the band, like, you know, you'd be quiet, respectful, open up. But when we played these shows at Spotlight, it felt like, you know, we were the promoters, and I don't even know what the hell to say, but you know, like we were the host. So it was cool, man. It was just it was nice to have everybody there. But then they started to go under, of course. He just didn't have a good niche. It wasn't making a lot of money. So he was telling us boys that it was time to go, and then we all decided to start playing shows and raising money and shit to try to save our Spotlight SOS. But it was cool though. A lot of good shows there. But I mean, after that, and I mean, looking back in retrospect, I met a lot of cool people. I made some of the most wild and memorable memories of my life there with this band in this time period. I've played with a ton of fucking cool bands. I mean, you know, most of these guys are just everybody I look up to, you know. It just is amazing looking back at this all now. But you know, really all because MC in this band is why I got to experience any of this good stuff that I can recall on and reminisce about. You know, we went through our fair share of lineup changes, but I still wouldn't trade it for anything, you know, to this day. Let me see here, a little more. I don't know, man. Johnny, I'm really gonna miss you, brother. I really am. I love you. I truly, truly hold the memories that I have with you close to my heart. Judy and Ben, my heart really does go out to you both. I'm really sorry about your loss. But, you know, we'll all gotta celebrate. We all have to celebrate what we had with him, because they were really good times to remember. So, goodbye, John. I love you, brother.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Sam Kaspszak. Of course, I was a friend of John's when we were younger, much younger, and was a member of the band Anonymous. For those of you who haven't met, I wanted to talk about John a bit today, just as I met him and as I knew him, which was, of course, as a young man, as a rowdy teenager. We met at summer school, actually, my 10th grade and John's 11th grade year, at the ALC building downtown in Duluth, and we had our classes right there in the gym that had the upper deck kind of wooden track that you could run around, and then the basketball court down below. We kind of met and hit it off as the only two weirdos in the group. We were all weirdos, but the only metal weirdos. The rest were kind of, you know, rap kids and downtown kids and all kinds of other things. So we found out that each other played music, and oh my God, I met a drummer, which was impossible to find at that time. I was in a band called Twitch with a couple of guys, Mike Brown and Jake Bushy, and another kid named Tyler who couldn't play the drums to save his life, but we still called him our drummer. And, you know, John and I started hanging out together after our summer schools, and eventually he took me over to his buddy Matuzak's house out in West Duluth. And Matuzak was an excellent guitarist, and he had been playing with John for years and years. John, of course, playing drums, Matuzak playing guitar, and they, you know, kind of asked if I wanted to play some music, and I had kind of asked if I could play some music. So we started messing around together, and kind of everything kind of came together there for the seeds that became Anonymous. And you know, I'm sure a lot of people will talk about the band and all that stuff, but I just want to talk about the guy John. Who he was and who he was in the band and who he was to me. So John is probably as different from me as you could possibly get. He's absolutely not one to conform at all to anybody's standards or to anybody's ideas, which is really difficult for me because I'm a guy who liked a lot of control, and when we were putting together a band, I wanted things to be orderly and I wanted things to be my way and so on and so forth, which, you know, any young narcissist would do. But John, he just, anytime somebody wanted to take control of something or the world wanted to take control of something, he would fight that. He would fight it so hard, and he would fight it with his jokes, with his humor, with his quick wit. He'd find a way to tear it apart really quick, and so he'd piss me off. But he was just so fun to be around, and so it was just wild when he was there. You never knew what was going to happen, especially when we would go out of town for shows and things like that. It would just be an unknown. It was an adventure. Every time we played music together, it was an adventure. And you know, though John was an incredibly abrasive person, really, really direct and really, really aggressive in some ways, and also very, very uncommunicative in other ways and difficult to talk to, his virtuosity in the music and his passion for what we were doing really was kind of the soul of that band in Anonymous. And for me as a young person, was really, really shiny. It was something I really wanted to be around, and you know, I kind of looked at him as the reason we were doing music. kind of the reason we were doing any kind of success in music. So I love all my memories of going to his mother's house and playing the whole band in his tiny little bedroom. Somehow with his lofted bed, we were able to get the drum set under there and all of our makeshift rigs together so we could practice in this band. Well, his brother Ben was hanging out in his room in the next, just one wall away, and his mom would be sitting on the couch, and I don't know how they put up with us for all the time they did. I remember just practices. Any kind of weird thing might happen. Anybody might want to come and hang out. Going across the street to get Kansas SpaghettiOs to eat. In the middle of practice and all sorts of things like that. It sometimes felt like we were writing a song a day, and not that those songs were all that intricate or intense, but they were something special to us. They were special to John too. Whenever we would play anywhere, that's who got noticed. That's what got mentioned, was John and his drumming, what he was doing for us, and which is funny because John wanted nothing to do with all that recognition and all that praise. That just was not his gig. The ball gag and the mask and all that he'd wear. He'd set his drums up facing backwards, not to engage with that crowd, which is funny because he was the biggest star out of all of us. So, I didn't keep contact with John over all those years, and we grew up as very different adults. I'm a business guy, I'm a family guy. I don't really play the metal music anymore, and John was definitely into his own pursuits and his own world, and that's just the person he was. And I'm certain that he would not approve of anything I'm doing in my life, as I may not approve of the things he was doing in his life. But he was a magic person, really unique, and I will miss him. I think about him still all the time, and there's so many things that I say and do and even think that are because of him. So we'll miss you, John. We'll miss you very much, and I am so glad that I got the opportunity to be your friend during that time and to play that music with you and to do such a unique thing together. Not a lot of us get to say that, so we'll miss you, and thanks for letting me remember you.
To those of you who don't already know me, my name is Stacy Krugger. First off, I want to say a humongous thank you to everybody who was able to send a video in. It hasn't been easy for any of us to record these videos. And I remember I was originally actually getting kind of aggravated because people were not sending the videos in right away or not calling me so I could record them right away. And I'm going like, what the heck? What's going on here? Why aren't you guys getting back to me? Why the fuck is it taking so long? And then I went to go record mine. Now I realize why it's taking so long, because I'm right down to the wire. It's Monday morning, for me. Right before the video was already supposed to be out because I just couldn't do it. Well, technically I did it, but we'll get into that in a minute. This ain't easy. To be perfectly blunt, this is a video I never thought I would have to record. Getting old sucks. Getting old fucking sucks. Because so many people you love go away, whether it be moving or, in this case, dying. At least when they move, you get to see them again, And I don't like getting old. I really don't. Seriously though, thank you all of you guys for sending your videos in to say goodbye to John. This is meant to be, closure for everyone. Closure for us who have to record the videos. Closure for John's family so they can see that John was so insanely loved. Closure for all of us, because either A, we're too far away to make it somewhat close, or B, because of COVID nonsense, we just can't do this type of stuff, But I'll be perfectly honest, this is way harder than I thought to make. Way harder. I was editing this video together and I made it about 10 minutes in of seeing pictures of John and video of John and hearing, you know, Lola talk about John and moving on. And I just turned into a blubbering mess. You know, I absolutely started bawling my eyes out. You know, I ended up having to call Lola because, you know, my significant other was dead asleep on the couch, you know. So I couldn't wake clocks up because she really needed to sleep. She just got off of work, so I called up Lola, and especially since Lola, you know, she knew John. She knew what I was feeling. The poor girl had to listen to me just blubber for like 10 minutes straight because I just couldn't hold it together. Bloody emotionally drained from all this, you know. That's the best way to describe it, is emotionally drained. I did one take, and I ended up having to cut it and restart because I turned into a bawling mess. Which is funny because that's exactly what I told people not to do. But now, you know, now that I tried to do it, I understand why they didn't want to do it. Because, one, you don't want anybody to see you ugly cry, you know. Except for those, you know, like your wife or something. Then you don't mind that as much. But, or your kid. Well, not even your kids, really, because you want to be strong for your kids, you know. Well, most people do. My kids have all seen me ugly cry. That, and you also want to make sure your message is delivered properly, not jumbled through ugly cry, you know. Then I did a take last night, and I ended up having to walk away from that one because I said all the right things. I said exactly what I wanted to say, but I was so emotionally drained and burnt, and I was just so emotionally tired. It felt like it was fake. I knew it was real. Everything I was saying was real in my heart. But it just didn't feel. It's as if I was saying the parts, but I wasn't feeling the parts. And I didn't want that for John. I didn't want that for this video. I didn't want this for John's family. It didn't feel right. You know, it did not feel right. So I wanted to do this proper. So I went and slept. And Stacy, being Stacy, is like, hey, I'll wake up in like a couple hours and recut it. It'll be fine. I didn't realize how emotionally drained I was. I slept through 10 alarms trying to wake me up. And I slept clear through until my kids dove on top of me when I was in bed to wake me up. And that was about an hour late for waking up. Well, hour and a half late, somewhere in there, to waking up for this, to actually debut this video. So right now I'm 2 hours late for debuting the video. And I'm recording my part, and it's not even done. But I'm glad I slept. Because if I hadn't, I don't think I could have properly told John and everyone else exactly how much John meant to me. John. I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. But rest well, homie. Rest well, dude. I love you more than I can put to words, and I still do. I looked at you as a brother for this entire time. I never once didn't look at you as a brother. You know, we may have fought. We always fought. This is what we did. We'd bicker, we'd fight, we'd write songs by each other. We'd always come back together, you know. We'd always become these best of friends once again. Always. But looks like this time you're not coming back. I'm going to miss you, man. A lot. I miss you a shit ton. want to say thank you to Judy and Ben. You guys are like the best adoptive family I could have ever had when I was an idiot teenager. And you'll know exactly what I'm saying when I say an idiot teenager. You guys had to deal with me. You guys had to live with me being a fucking idiot, you know? You guys had to... God, poor Ben, guys. Having to deal with me, just band practice be going on or band practice be over for Anonymous. And there's Stacy just lingering about in the house because I had nowhere else to go. I think at that point in time I wasn't homeless yet. I was just idiot Stacy wandering around the house. Constantly knocking on Ben's door. Can I play EverQuest? Because he was a huge EverQuest player at that point. He was the one that got me into MMOs. You know, before him, I was never into WoW or EverQuest. And so I tried out EverQuest for the first time with Ben and fell in love with it. That's where Bufffinger, it's the infamous name Bufffinger that everybody knows about. That's where the very first character Bufffinger was ever created. The one that, I can't... Ben will probably be yelling at the screen when I say it, but the frog people from EverQuest. I forgot the character, the name of the race. But yeah, the frog people was Bufffinger. You might hear Aerith in the background. My youngest child is Aerith. She's running around playing with her brothers. So if you hear Aerith, don't mind. She's fine. Her brothers are watching her. And he's had to deal with me bothering him, and I know he tolerated me because me and John were friends. It was never... Like, later on in life, as I matured and calmed the fuck down, we became friends. But early on, I could tell he just tolerated me, and I felt... Nowadays, I feel bad, you know. Back then, I was like, oh, we're the best of friends. But, yeah, you could tell he's just going, God damn it, John, why this kid? You know? Judy. Oh, my God, I'm sorry that you had to deal with me. Poor Judy had to deal with so much shit for me. Me and John were pros at pushing her buttons and getting her pissed. Like, when Stoner was telling his story about he wants to get this big wooden spoon and have Judy autograph it. And I'm on board with this because she was the band mom, you know? And she was also the mom to all of us independently. But especially, well, obviously John, of course, you know, but especially me. I looked at her as a mom. I respected her like a mom, but I also pissed her off a lot like she was a mom. You know, she was my actual mom, you know. I pushed her buttons like as often as I could to piss her off, you know, but I did it because I loved her, and it's all I knew was pissing off your parental unit, you know, making them angry and shit. I think she could tell how much I respected her and how much I thought of her. I hope. I really hope she knows. Obviously, she'll know now because she's watching this, but back then, I didn't always show it, but I thought the absolute world of her. As I told you, Aerith's out there playing, guys. I think she's on her cart running around. Her little car. But, like, I did, and I still do. Remember walking in and seeing Judy at the place where she works. Now, I'm not going to say where it is, but seeing where she is now, and I looked at her, and she looked at me. Mr. Krugger, how you doing? Like, holy crap, it's Ma. Judy, how you doing? You know, and it was just the coolest thing seeing her again. You know, obviously she's working, so I couldn't give her a massive hug like I wanted to, but I haven't even called her yet. I got the number from Ben, and I couldn't bring myself to call Judy yet, despite how badly I wanted to. I've had the number dialed. I keep on going to push send, and I guess lack of a better word, I chicken out because I can't. The fuck am I gonna say? Right? What the hell am I gonna say? You know? I'll say it now since I couldn't say it on the phone. Judy, I love you. I've always thought the world of you, and I can't express how bad it hurts for me and how sorry I am, because I can't imagine how much it must hurt for you. Because if it hurts this much for me, I would never want to be in your position. Ever. I'm sorry. And thank you for dealing with me all those years. God, I still don't know how the fuck Ben and Judy put up with our band. And well, it was their band for the longest time. I was a very late transplant into the band. It was just because I was a roadie and a super fan. I was a Band-Aid, as we called us back then. Because there was a fan which just came out to all the shows. And there was, that came out to some shows. Super fan was the one that just came out to every single show no matter what. And then there was the Band-Aid who forced the band to deal with them by helping them roadie, by helping them sell merch, by working the door for them, by insisting on being friends with everybody. And like, the main reason why I was a Band-Aid was because me and Matuzak and McNeally, the guitar player Matuzak, who unfortunately we couldn't get a hold of for the video, and McNeally, Mick, the drummer, we were such good friends. I just kind of went, oh, you're gonna try out for a band? Yeah, you want to come check them out? Yeah, I tried out for them. They're really good. Okay, cool. I'd love to come check out practice. And I showed up at like their second practice, I think it was, second or third practice with Anonymous, and I just never stopped coming around. And I just fell in love. It was stupid, but I loved it. Just loved it. And it was noise. I mean, we called it poo metal for a fucking reason. There was new metal, and then there was Anonymous poo metal. I play it on my show all the time because I still love it, but it wasn't good music. But it had a heart and soul in it. It's kind of the same way you look at punk. It's not necessarily good music, but you put all of your emotion and love and heart and soul into it, and that's what really matters. You know what I mean? So I guess this is where I'm going to say thank you, John, for being an amazing friend, for letting me tag along with your adventures, and helping me get exposed to music. Because I was in one band prior to Anonymous, and it was a band. We kind of just, everybody got drunk and got stoned and got twisted on all types of drugs, and then just jammed aimlessly for hours. And that's back when I still thought I was a singer, so it was god awful. I still feel bad. That was actually when I met Matuzak. It was his band with drummer JP. And yeah. Weird little band thing. I don't know what the hell that was all about. But seriously, John, thank you for teaching me what music was. Teaching me how to be a musician. Teaching me how to live for music. I was just that fan who loved music and wanted to be part of it, but didn't know what the fuck he was doing. John taught me about music and taught me what it was about and taught me how to be a musician. I can't count, the number of times he'd be sitting there just jamming for hours and hours and hours, and I'd just be sitting in his room watching him, going, this is what fucking dedication is. This is dedication. Sitting, just listening to your tunes and playing the tunes non-stop, and that's all you do. You play some video games, you watch maybe a movie or two, hang out, but mostly all you do is just play music non-stop. That's fucking dedication. And no matter how hard I tried, I can never get to the level of John with dedication, He was an emotional son of a bitch. Of course, weren't we all? John flipping his drum set at 2 different shows. One show was at the lab. Lola told the story, and so did Stoner. But the one part nobody mentioned is when at the very end of the show, because nobody was there, Mick was really pissed off, despite it was our best sounding show and one of our best performances. He just got really pissed off, so he grabbed the bottom of his drum set. He chucked his drumsticks at the very end of the show, grabbed the bottom of his drum set, flipped the son of a bitch, smashed his drums everywhere, and all of a sudden you hear a loud and that's when the sound guy comes over screaming, "Who's the fucking idiot who flipped his drum set?" It's like, it's me. It's like, all right, either A, you pay us back for the mic, you get paid, or B, you don't get paid for the mic, you don't get paid for the show in your band for 5 years. And he's like, keep the money. And that's when everybody leaned in, looked at each other, went, were we going to get paid for this show? Nobody realized we're getting paid. We thought we're just going to go play a show. That's before the concept of getting paid for shows was huge in our minds. Back then, it was just, music was just a thing that you did because you loved it. You went out and played the shows. It wasn't about getting paid. It wasn't about the business of it. It was just, holy shit, we can go play our music for people. And then we get paid afterwards, like, holy shit, we got paid too. You know, it just never really clicked. Nowadays, we'd never do that because it's just, who the fuck would waste their gas money to drive somewhere just to play, right? If they were going to do that, I'd much rather just sit at the practice spot, play music and, have, get drunk and pass out or something, I guess, It's kind of the mindset, at least in general for musicians. Back then, that's what it was all about, and seeing Mick just get irate, flip his drum set, and get us banned from the lab for 5 years was fucking hilarious. We never went back, obviously, because the band was broken up well before the 5 years was done. But, it was definitely one of those moments of, my God, Mick. And, I never really agreed with them when it came to that, but I definitely looked up to him for his passion, I don't think John knew how much I looked up to him as a friend, as a brother, and as a musician. There's shit that I do to this day still because of John. I looked up to him so much. This is back once again before I really knew who I was, I would mimic so many things that John would do because I thought they were so cool, I thought John was just like this awesome dude, and I still do to this day. I still think he's amazing, despite the flaws, Just like I hope people say the same about me, but realistically, I don't really give two shits. It's I looked up to him so much. Just the things he would do, the determination he had, the way he would act, the fact that he had the no give a shit filter, like I have a no give a shit filter to this day. Anybody who knows me knows I have that, and I'm quite proud of the fact that I just don't give a shit. But even I at points will stop. Mick never stopped ever. And that's one of the things I loved about him, man. He would never slow down. He would never just not do something because he was told not to. He was always the oi, I'm going to do what I want, motherfucker. And that's what I loved about him. That's why I looked up to him so much. God, that's why I looked up to him. Because it was funny because I remember, Stone was talking about the band roles, and so was Sammy D. Talking about how everybody in the band had their own little roles, and it's true, Sammy D was the adult. He wanted to be the adult. Like, he was same age as us, but he wanted to be so grown up so quickly. So he always pretended to be the adult, and he always had to be the responsible one. And then there's Matuzak, who was always the quiet one, who was just bursting with talent, but he didn't like talking to people. So he just got on stage, just did his gig, rocked out, had a great time, played his riffs rock solid. But the second the show was done, he'd just be hanging out, in the corner. Not really talking, but he would talk to the band, but that's about it. Otherwise, he didn't like talking to people, Then there's, but he didn't really do anything too crazy. He didn't like jump around on stage or anything. He just headbang and that's it. He tried to be non-existent on stage. Then there was Mikey B, who when I first met him, he was like not the metalhead that everybody knows him as now. Like he was always a metal. He loved metal. Don't get me wrong, but like when I first met him, he had like this little preppy haircut, stereotypical what you would expect from back when we were kids, preps. Like polo shirts from Abercrombie, I think it was, or one of those places. He just kind of got this little look to him, little walk. He just had, he didn't know who the hell he was either. So, when the band first formed, he had this look to him that just didn't look right, and because he would have his guitar skunt that he still has to this day. His very first guitar just covered in stickers and stuff, and playing this really heavy metal, but he looked like the way it just looked uncomfortable. So he started to slowly become different looking, look different, I guess, or whatever, you know, look more like who he turned into later on in life. But it was just this weird mixture of all of us. And then, you know, there I am. I was basically just I was the Klingon. That's really about it. I was just that annoying piece of shit that clings to your ass. That's who I was. I would just hang around the band, annoy everybody, and that's who I was. I was just really good at pissing Sam off, and that's about it. Later on in life, we became much better friends, but I was really good at pissing Sam off. Then there was Stoner, who was like the party boy in the making, you know? He was just this little fucking little kid back then, you know? Well, of course, we were all little kids, but I'm a gargantuan, so to me, he was just this little kid, you know, running around. This little metalhead kid who was like a party boy, frat boy, party boy kid in the making. It was just weird. Totally different nowadays, but back then, that's what I was like, he's just going to be a frat boy, party boy when he gets older. Well, I was wrong. You know, then there was Mick. He was the fucking gem of that band. He always tried so hard to not be seen. He'd turn his drum set around, which I know Stone already talked about this, but I feel like I need to. Like, he'd wear a mask, or he'd wear something on his face to obstruct his face so no one would see him, you know? But every single show we played, we'd always hear, holy shit, did you hear that drummer? Did you see that drummer? He was amazing. People would always want to talk to him. Like, he'd haul all of his gear out of the venue with his mask and his entire outfit on. He'd go out in the van or the car or the truck where we held our gear in with, take off his mask, change his entire outfit so he didn't look the same at all, come back inside, and people would swarm. And he'd look at me like, Stace, I don't get it. How the hell do people know me? Mick, dude, they know you. Like, you played a couple shows without a mask on, so they're going to know you. It's going to take a long time before people start to separate you from your character, your drummer person. Like, I think at one point in time he called himself Gastro to try to separate himself, which is funny because the name of the movies was also Gastro. It was just because of the mask that he wore. But yeah, it was just, Mick did not want to be known, but he was the centerpiece of that whole band, which is hilarious because there was me and Sammy D trying to show up each other to try to be, you know, like when I joined the band at least, we're trying to show up each other to try to be the star of the band. And every single time, McNeally, with trying to not show us up and trying to not be the star of the band, was the star of the band every single show. You could talk to people about Anonymous. I would say 90% of them, 95% of them are going to go, hey, do you mean that band with that really crazy drummer, John Mick? If that doesn't tell you how amazing of a drummer you were, John, and how lasting you are in people's hearts. A lot of people, John, refused to record this video for you because they knew they couldn't make it through it. Because they cared for you so much they didn't want to. And I mean a lot of people. I was going to skip my section altogether, but I knew I needed to say goodbye. Because if I didn't say goodbye, I knew I wouldn't have closure myself. I hope soon we can have a proper service for you so all of us can get together. And even the ones who couldn't come on camera because they knew they couldn't make it through it can come together and honor you properly. Even if it's not, you know, with your remains or whatever, as long as it's just in memory of you. It could be at your house, Judy. We don't care. Nobody needs to be getting drunk, for fuck's sake. I don't drink anymore. Like, hell, like, okay, I put it out there, but I had my O'Doul's can just here a little bit ago before I started streaming, you know, from last night. Oh, not streaming, before I started recording this. I don't fucking drink. You know, I just want to get together and hang out with my family one last time. If it is one last time, you know, to honor the best musician I've ever had the privilege of playing with. And I mean that, John. You were the best friend, the best brother, and the best musician this idiot could ever have. At least you were willing to keep me in check. And that's one of the reasons I looked up to you so much, because you weren't afraid to tell me, Stace, that sounds like garbage. What the fuck are you doing? Stace, that's stupid. That's a terrible thing. What the hell are you doing? And you didn't do it to be mean. You did it because it was the truth. Many people in almost every band I've played in now have told me that riff sounds like shit, or what you're doing sounds like shit, because they either A, didn't want to get shown up, or B, they just didn't think it was the image they wanted for the band. Where you would always say it because it's the truth. And I wish I had another drummer like you, but I'll never have another drummer like you. I wish you could have jammed with you one last fucking time. God, do I wish one last time we could have jammed. Or just hung out. I wish I could have kept in contact with you. I wish you wouldn't have pushed me away all the times I did contact you and try to reconnect. I wish I would have tried harder to get you to help me. To get me to help you. To let me help you. I knew what I meant to say. Because I knew I was sober, so we could hang out. But I think you knew what you were choosing. I don't like admitting it, but I do. Just know I'm going to love you the rest of my life. There's always going to be a void in my heart because of you. Waiting. I don't believe in an afterlife, but waiting for you, I guess. You know? There's always going to be a hole in my heart where you used to be. Your memory is always going to be there, though. That fire you lit under my ass to be a good musician and be an amazing musician like you is always going to be there. Thank you for being the friend I deserved. I mean it. Thank you for being the person I deserve to have in my life. I love you, John. Rest well. You of all people deserve the rest. I don't want to fucking end this. Because I know once I end this is a chapter of all of our lives. It's over. You know? So I keep trying to drag this out when I know I shouldn't. I hope you know. This will be the last, I promise. I hope you realize how much you'll be missed, because the kids still ask about Uncle John when Uncle Mick's going to come around again. Victor and Serena still talk about you. I love you, man. Rest well.